Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Darlene Swistock from the Buckles office, and I would like to thank you for attending today's training. As you may know, the Buckles Strategic Plan calls for centralized training coordinated by the Buckles office for mandated services, which include the ILS, delivery, and e-content. And this is the third time we're offering this class, and we'll be offering it again on Tuesday. It's open to anyone who is a new hire at Buckles, as well as anyone who wants a refresher. So this is basic cataloging support training with our cataloging team, Yumi, Margaret, and Kirsten. Just a couple of housekeeping issues and items to go over. Today's training should last about 2 hours, and there'll be time for Q&A after. Please type your questions in the chat box during the presentation. Please type your questions in the Q&A box, which will be monitored, and those questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. Please do not type any questions in the chat box. We're just going to use the chat box to say hello this morning. We found that if you put your layout in full screen mode, it's easier to follow what's on the screen when it's being shared. So if you just click on the layout icon in the top, you'll see a drop-down menu and you can go to full screen. We will be sharing the slides and the recording after the presentation. We'll also be including the CAT Express manual and the record selection tips. So I would like to turn this over now to our elite cataloging team, Yumi, Margaret, and Kirsten.
Hello, everyone. As Darlene shortly explained, we're gonna share all the materials after the training, and all of your questions will be answered at the end of the presentation. Okay, so we're gonna start. Okay, welcome to Buckles Cataloging Support Training. I'm Yumi Choi, Senior Cataloging Librarian. I do English, CJK Original Cataloging, and WCP updates. We're going to talk about WCP later. And CJK is Chinese, Japanese, Korean.
Hi, everybody. I'm Margaret Rose O'Keefe. I'm Cataloging and Special Projects Librarian. I take care of the CAT Express import, our e-content cataloging, some database cleanup, and most recently, I have been the special projects, the project manager for the South Orange transition into Buckles. We also have Kirsten Fagerland, who is our cataloging librarian. She's just getting set up. She does the WCP import and languages other than English and CJK, so languages like Russian, Spanish, French, Hindi, etc. And some database cleanup as well, as we all do. So you'll be seeing her join a little bit later. Here she is actually now, so she can say hello. We all have our video going just for the introductions right now, Kirsten.
You can share your video.
Yep. And
I think she's having technical problem. Oh, yeah, she's here.
There she is. So I just introduced you, but you could say hello.
Hello. Sorry for the technical difficulties. My name is Kirsten Fagerland. I'm cataloging librarian. My primary duties are the WCP import and original cataloging for languages other than English and Chinese, Japanese, Korean.
Okay. That's us.
That's us.
Okay, so let's start with how we do our work. So there are 3 ways you can submit your records. The first, when you order your materials from your vendors, such as Baker & Taylor, Ingram, which are OCLC collection partners, then when your materials are shipped, the records for your materials, if available, it automatically sent to us. And those records are not complete. Most of them are pre-pub records, so they are very incomplete. And some of the information can be wrong. It depends on how the publisher changed their mind right before they publish the real books. So these records are not complete, but anyway, we keep it in a special record set, and we monitor them, and then we update them whenever full records are available. That's the first way. And after you get the shipment from your vendors, and sometimes you order your materials not from your from OCLC collection partner vendors, then most of cases you go to CAT Express and search the records for your material and submit it, save to catalog. Submit means save to catalog, you will see later. Then then the next day, catalogers get the file and then process. We call it batch edit. We process the file and then we import the records. That's the second way. And third way is if you cannot find any records from OCLC and wherever you can search, if there's a no records exist, then you can submit original cataloging support form. Then we're gonna create a new record for your library. But in order to do that, you ask your director or designated assignee to submit the justification form. Kirsten will talk about the form later. And I'll just briefly talk about what is the batch edit the catalogers doing. So first, we delete unnecessary fields and subfields from the records you submitted. And we just review all the records in order to identify if the records meet the Buckle's minimum criteria or it's complying with Buckle's policies and procedures. And if there is some Library of Congress children's subject heading, we just change it to the regular LC subject heading. And we add general material designation, which is obsolete now, but libraries prefer to keep it, so we adding them. And then we just do whatever things to be edited, and we just add it while we are doing the batch edit process. Okay, that's the whole process of our Buckle's cataloging. And I just shortly talked about WCP records before. So what are WCP records? They are provided by OCLC collection partner, which are most of like your vendors, Bacon Taylor and Ingram. So once you order your materials, and when your materials are shipped, we get the records automatically. So by doing this, you don't need to search CAT Express for the materials you ordered from the collection partners, and we'll get the, although it's not complete pre-pub records, it's very brief, short, but by doing this, you can link your material faster and your patrons can place hold faster. So this is win-win for your patrons and the library staff. For these attribute records, we put them in a special record set and we keep an eye on them. And then whenever we find full records, we update the attribute records. So these are records is under our control. So if you want to, if you're not registered for WCP record service, please contact us and then we will register your library for this service. Okay, just let's briefly look how WCP records look like in LIB Polaris. So the left-hand side is the brief record search result. So when you see this, maybe you think it's good, but as soon as you see the description below, you said something's wrong because everything's in capitalized and even publisher information is not complete. So you are wondering, so what's going on? And then you click it, and then if you see the details, aha, this is a WCP records, what you that you talked about, you will see. Because if you see the bottom, there's a 590 field, which is local notes field. It explains that this is WCP records and it will be updated later whenever complete records are available. So whenever you see this look weird, something look weird, and if you click the details, you will see, oh, this is WCP records. So this is how WCP record look like. Yeah, I think like most of you recognize this whenever you enter the CAT Express. There is a notification that CAT Express will be no longer available next April and will transit to Record Manager. And Margaret already sent out twice about it. So we are working on them for the smooth transition. So you don't need to worry about it now. And then you just need to keep using CAT Express. And when time comes, we'll let you know what you need to do. Okay, so let me talk about cataloging communication. There are two ways of cataloging communication. The first is communication via your library's cataloging account. And second one is more like a group communication using text service group. So I think most of you are getting notification from us whenever we need to reject your record or just let you know what's the next step if your records are rejected. We communicate those kind of stuff with your library's cataloging account. So if you're not getting this kind of email, that means this email account is not forwarded to your email. Then you need to ask your director to add you and just like make the cataloging account to forward to you. If your director doesn't know how to do it, just contact us and then we will just let the director know how to do it. And tech service group, we are sending some like a big notifications such as transition from CAT Express to Record Manager or other things. We are using tech service group. So here's how you join the tech service group. You go to this website and search for Buckle's technical service, and you just click the join group. Then you will get some emails from us, and even your colleagues will just send some important notification each other. So please, please be aware of these two ways of communication. Okay, so let's start with CAT Express search. This is very important because although we are using CAT Express over almost like 2 or 3 years, but we are still getting a lot of wrong records, which are not following this direction. So please remind, before you search CAT Express, please set your language catalog limiter as English. So this cataloging limiter is different from the content language in content. This is for cataloging language, not the language for the content. So I will show you the examples later. So please always click apply language of catalog limiter as English before you start search. So when you don't set the limiter as English, these are search wizards for your search. So you see a lot of results in all different cataloging language. So first one, although you search by the same ISBN, if you don't set the limiter as English, you will see the Chinese cataloging record, which means the book itself is in English, but the cataloging language, all the description is in Chinese. And second one is cataloging language German. That means all the cataloging descriptions in German. And you see all the different languages here. So that this will happen if you don't set the limiter as English. So let's go and then look into the record. So this record cataloged in Slovenian. So as soon as click the record and as soon as you see the record itself, you can just simply say that something's wrong because the title is in English but the description is not in English. For example, physical description, instead of page There's some Slovenian language for the pages, and all the subject headings. You can see it's not in English. Subject heading is not in English. It's described in Slovenian, and you will say this is wrong, and you don't want to pick this record for us. Yeah, they make sad. They make us sad, and your patron sad. So please don't pick this record, and please set your cataloging limiter as English. And the same, the record for the same book, which is cataloged in English. So when you set the limiter as English, you will see all the cataloging records cataloged in English. So this one, the record for the same book, and this one is all the description is in English. You will see the physical description, English language is there, volume, and the subject headings, everything's in English. So we want you to choose this kind of record, which is cataloged in English. So please don't forget to set your language limiter every time you log into CAT Express, because once you log out, the settings gone. So whenever you log into CAT Express, please check the limiter setting. Yeah, this is way to go. Okay, I'm gonna just shortly explain about the difference between CAT Express and Record Manager, which we will use from next April. CAT Express will be no longer available from next April. So the left side, for the same DVD parasite, left side is CAT Express record, and the right side is Record Manager record for the same item. As you can see, CAT Express cannot display non-Roman languages. So although it's the cataloging record itself has all the information, as you can see from right side, CAT Express cannot display it. So you only can see the transliterated transliterations in this record. So this is not good. And so that's why we are asking you to submit records using Record Manager for the non-Roman script materials. So this is like a comparison between the CAT Express and Record Manager. Briefly, I'm just gonna briefly talk about it because we are not focusing on the Record Manager today. But we will have a huge training for the Record Manager before we transit to Record Manager. So maybe early next year. So this is an example of the difference between CAT Express and Record Manager. So if you need to submit non-Roman language material records, please use Record Manager. And if you don't have it already, then just let us know. We will just let you know how to set up, and we'll just give you the manual. Okay, let's start with CAT Express basic search here. So please don't forget to set the language cataloging limiter as English. Then we always recommend you search with a standard number. Standard number is ISBN for book, UPC for media, and ISSN for periodicals or serials. So please use this standard number for in order to get a shorter search result. If your material is like old before ISBN is using, then if your material doesn't have ISBN, you can also use keyword or title phrase search here, but we always recommend you search with a standard number. And somehow your material doesn't have ISBN or other standard numbers, and you need to limit your search in order to get the little search result, then you can use advanced search. In this example, I just searched for Harry Potter as a title, and I want the narrator Jim Dale. So I put the narrator's name here, and I want audiobook not published in English. Then you can just put not there. And also don't forget to select the language cataloging limiter as English. Then also you can just sort the result by a lot of options here. So you can just sort whatever you want. And limit by search, you can just add more qualifier here. So if you want audiobooks published between year 2015 to year 2023, you can add a date here. And the record format, I just want audiobook, then you can just choose record format here. And I want audiobook narrated in English, then you can just select the language here. So you can just limit your search here more in advanced search. Okay, so these are the search results from the advanced search I just showed before. So this search result itself also tells you a lot of information. So first one, it says PCC. And PCC is like a cataloging program, one of the cataloging program in by LC, Library of Congress. So whenever you see PCC in your search result, that means this record is better than other records created by other libraries. But not, so PCC members are also human, so they can make mistakes. So you always need to check if the record is better than other records, but we can just say that PCC records are relatively better than other records created by non-PCC members. So yeah, and the third one, it says in BRG, that means the record already submitted to us. The first, it's already in Polaris, or it's just selected by other member libraries, and maybe they just saved it to catalog. So although it says in BRG, sometimes you cannot see it in Polaris yet because catalogers are not processed it, or just, I mean, a library just selected it. So it doesn't mean that, it doesn't guarantee that in BRG means it's in the Polaris right away. But anyway, it's gonna be in Polaris soon, or it was selected by one of the member libraries. It was in Buckles, but later maybe the one owning library just read it out and they didn't let us know, so we couldn't delete the holding. Then it's still showed as in BRG, but that doesn't guarantee that all the material with in BRG means that everything's in Polaris. Just for your information. And the last one, it says LC. That means this record is cataloged by Library of Congress, which is like a same good quality as PCC, but you have to check because LC also cataloged by human, and the human sometimes can make errors. So yeah, so your search result can show you and can tell a lot of information. So even if there's a more than one search result, you want to see the PCC or LC records first, then other records. Okay, so if you find the good records, the next step is save it to catalog. So there you can see that there is a big X here, export only. There's a two way to save your record in the shared institutional file. First one is save to catalog. We always ask you to click save to catalog. That means this one click does two things at the same time. That means it saves your record into the institutional file and it set the holding. So if you click to save to catalog, you just let the other member libraries know that you just selected this record, and other people doesn't need to do it again. So you just like set the holding at the same time. But if you click export only, that means the record will be saved without setting the holding. So next time your colleagues just search the same materials, they have no idea if somebody already just saved it or not. So please ignore export only and always click save to catalog when you find a good record. Okay, so when you save the catalog, the next screen you'll see is catalog is successful. That means your record saved successfully, not there's no magic. You just save the catalog and it just appear in the place. There is no magic like that. That means, as I just told you before, there's a process we need to do. So you save your record into the institutional file. Next day, catalogers fetch the file, and we go over all the records, and then we import the records. So there's some processing time between you save the catalog and then you see the records in place. So if you see cataloging successful, that means your record successfully saved to the file. So, okay, so as I just mentioned about it before, it will take 20 to 48 hours for us to process the file, just in case if something happened to us. Maybe it can take longer, but usually we just process the file within 24 to 48 hours. So if you don't see your records after you submit it via CAT Express within that time period, just let us know. I just exported. No, I just saved the record to via CAT Express like 2 days ago, but I don't see the record in place. Can you just explain what happened? Then we'll just find out what happened. And also, please check your cataloging email account. Whenever we have to reject your records, we always notify you the reason why we cannot enter your record in the place. So you please, if you don't see your records, first check your cataloging email. Then if there's a no email, then just let us know. Okay. So from now on, Kirsten will just talk about the tips how to select good records.
Okay, thanks, Yumi. Hold on 1 second while I share my screen with you. Okay, can you see the slides?
All good here.
Okay, great. Awesome. Okay, so hi everyone. This is Kirsten. I'll be walking you through all the ways to select good and complete bibliographic records when you're searching in CAT Express. So this chart here is the minimum criteria that we look for in a complete bibliographic record. First, we have the main entry. That's usually the author's name or the corporate name, like for a company or a group author, or the composer's name for a music sound recording. And second, we have the title statement in the 245 fields in MARC, and that has the title, of course, as well as the author's name, any illustrators or directors from films, composers or librettists for musical sound recordings. All of that information is there. And third, we have the imprint information in either the 260 or 264 fields. That's usually the publication location. That's got the publisher's name and the publication date. Then fourth, we have the physical description. That's the 300 field. That usually includes pagination, illustrations, color or black and white, sound and color for films, and the dimensions of books or the numbers of discs for audio recordings. Then fifth, we have the subject added entries. So those are the 600 fields, and you have listed there in MARC. We use Library of Congress subject headings in the 6XX fields. So the second indicator will be 0 in the code, and that's how you can tell it's from the Library of Congress. If there's another number in that code, it means it comes from a different source. So I'll show you an example of what that looks like in a couple minutes. So normally the 6XX fields contain subjects, concepts, people, if it's a biography or a memoir, it'd be the subject, corporate names, like for bands or for organizations, companies, and meeting name listed there in 611 indicates conferences or expeditions, like the Lewis and Clark expedition, or events sometimes, like the Olympics. And geographic names are for settings or for travel guide locations, And as long as there's at least one of these in your bibliographic record, that's a good sign. And last, we have the added entry. That's in the 700 fields. So they may not appear in every record, but these usually include additional authors for a book or editors for collections of stories, for example, and performers or names of groups and organizations or bands for musical sound recordings. And sometimes publishers will also be listed under 7XX fields. And a little note on the bottom, on the 655 field, it's not a subject heading, it's slightly different. It's for genre or form. Those are the terms that indicate what kind of an item it is, or what, and its physical characteristics, like a board book, or for example, romance fiction, or historical fiction, or autobiography. So it doesn't indicate what kind, what the book is about. Those are for the other, 600, 650 fields. 655 is specifically for genres and forms. Okay, so this is an example of an incomplete record in CAT Express. As you can see on the left, we have the text display. This is a simplified view. And on the right, we have the mark display with the number fields that I mentioned, along with a few other additional fields. The first thing I notice on the left is that the title field and the author field and the publication information outlined in red are in uppercase instead of normal sentence case. And there's no physical description in the 300 field. As you can see on the right side in the mark display, there's no 300 field listed there. And there's also no 600 fields for subject headings. So this is going to make our cataloger sad. And now this is an example of a complete record in CAT Express. As you can see on the left, the text display has a lot more information here, and everything is correctly capitalized and it's in sentence case. On the right side, we have the mark display again, and we see all the minimum required fields that we're looking for. We have the 100 field with the author's name and the 245 title statement. And we have 264 with publication location, the publisher, and the date. We have the 300 field that has Roman numeral pagination as well as standard numbers. We have illustrations, and we've got the dimensions. And importantly, we have the 600 fields and 6XX. We have 600s and 650s in this case. So because this is a memoir, we have these, the 600 fields have the subjects of the memoir. In this case, it's the author and her daughter. And we have the 650s with the subjects of the book. So on CAT Express, you'll be able to scroll down and see all the subject headings in the mark view. Right now, only most of them are displayed on the left side with the text display. Margaret will demonstrate how this looks in action in a few minutes. Okay, so here's some record selection tips that you need to know when you're looking for a record in CAT Express. The best thing to search for is the ISBN or the ISSN for serials and the UPC for media, because they're all unique identifiers. If your item falls under any of the categories below, under Eliminate the Following Records, we have to ask you for justification in order to create records for those, since they don't comply with the Buckles cataloging submissions policy. And the link below here leads to the page with the full list of items that we don't accept, or that will require justification before we add them to the catalog. So what if you can't find a record in CAT Express for the item you have? You can always send us a ticket on the Buckles support page in Buckles Connect. And if your item doesn't comply with Buckles policy, then you can ask your director or the designated appointee that your director chooses to send us an original cataloging request or a cataloging submission justification form. Items that are self-published or indie published also require justification. Like if you have a local author who writes a book and you'd like to add it, we usually require justification for that if it's self-published. For anything that's not released yet or that's newly released, Sometimes it's best to wait a week or two before you submit a ticket if you can't find a complete record for the item. There's always a chance that a new complete record will be added within that time frame. If you have any submissions that are patron requests also, or if you have an author event that's at your library, we'll prioritize those requests in the ticket system. Okay, so here's a brief look at the catalog submissions policy and the link. Oh, sorry. My apologies. Okay, I am going to go to the different support tickets you can send us if you need help with any cataloging issues that arise. And this is where you can find the support form on Hapio or on Buckles Connect under the support tab. And if you click down here, it's on the right side. So this is and you choose cataloging under the radio button menu. And you've got the first one here, which is add ISBN or UPC to an existing record. So this one covers paperback editions that have the same street date or dimensions, page numbers as the hardcover editions that might be in the catalog already. And it also covers things like paw prints editions, fallout bound, turtleback, or other library binding editions that you might want to add. So if you have an issue that's related to adding a new ISBN, please use this form. And here we have the database error form. This is for any editing suggestions you have for a bibliographic record. Like if you find a typo in the title, for example, or if you have a question about the author's name, or if the cover image doesn't match the item that you have. However, if it's related to a missing ISBN or a UPC, you can use the previous form for that instead. But for any other syntax issues or typographical issues like that, you can use the database error form. Then we have the linking form. This is for any questions you have about linking your item to a record. If you're not sure which record you should link your item to, there's more than one that might work. Or if you exported a record and you don't see it in the catalog yet, please send us your question with this form. And here we've got the OCLC records. This covers either Cat Express or Record Manager, depending on which format you're using. You can send us this form if you're looking for a record and you find more than one that might work for your item before you export it. If one of the records is incomplete, again, we recommend waiting a week or two after the street date. Sometimes they will be updated within that time frame. Okay, so last we have the original cataloging request and the cataloging justification forms. These can only be sent by your director or your director's designated appointee via Buckles Connect. So if you can't find a record for your item, or if it doesn't comply with the Buckles cataloging submissions policy, please ask your director or the designee to use this form here. The information we need in order to create an original record is in the catalog submissions policy on this link in Buckles Connect. So you can consult that and the list here for the important information we need to create a record. It'll be mostly the information that we covered earlier in the minimum required fields. Okay, so this is, I'm going to speak briefly to the directors for a second, any directors who might be listening or designated appointees. This is where you can find the original cataloging request, cataloging submission justification form on Buckles Connect. So it'll be under support form. It'll be the second option there. Sorry about that. And yeah, you'll find the instructions for that form on that page. And I believe that is it for me. So now Margaret will go ahead and demonstrate how to search for records in Cat Express.
Hi, everybody. I'm just going to share my screen quickly. Give me 1 second to do that. Okay. And I'm going to show you everything, kind of everything we just talked about, but live on Cat Express. So let's go ahead and share that. Okay, so everyone should be seeing my screen now. This is the Cat Express homepage. That's connection.oclc.org at the top. You can see that. And we're going to log in with a test library. I'm going to use one of our library's credentials to log in. And I don't think we talked about saving your login information because most of you should have already done that. But local browser settings is where you go to save that information so it fills in each time. You'll notice I didn't have my information saved, so I did have to enter it in myself. So I'm going to log on. And I'm going to go over here to our search screen. And we're going to cover some of the topics that Yumi and Kirsten talked about. So our first topic is going to be when you search for something and you forget to apply the language of the cataloging limiter to English. So I'm going to search for this ISBN. And you're going to see what happens when you don't limit it. So here you're getting 3 search results for this ISBN. And you see here on the screen the cataloging language is English for the first one, and Slovenian for the second one, and English for the third one. So what's the difference here? Let's take a look at some of those things Yumi talked about. So let's look at the Slovenian one, the second result. And we're going to click that one to open it. We're going to change over to Mark Display by clicking that button at the top for Mark Display. And then we're going to see what we see here. Okay, so from the top, you're going to notice that in the 040 field, in subfield B, you see SLV. That tells you that this is cataloged or described in Slovenian, not in English. What else do we see? In the 020 field, which is for the ISBN information, the descriptor here is not in English either. That's in Slovenian. And same for this next ISBN. Moving down, you're going to see here the 240 where it has the original title information. It's telling you that this is translated into this language. Well, what is that language? I can't tell because that's written in Slovenian. As you go farther down, you're going to see that the 500 field, which is a notes field, is in Slovenian as well. And then you have a couple of subject headings here that are in Slovenian too. So this is described in Slovenian. And one real important field that I didn't mention that I'll get back to here, the 300 field is where you can, a lot of times you can notice this happening. You see here the pagination is listed in Slovenian instead of English. So that's where a lot of times you can tell right away because you might not be as familiar with the 040 field or the qualifier in the 020 field or some of these other fields at the 240 field. But you will notice here when you're looking in the 300 field at the description and you're seeing, okay, it's 623 pages, but I'm not seeing the word pages. I'm seeing something else. I'm seeing something in a different language. So that tells you this is described in another language. This is not the record I want to select. I want to skip this record. So we're going to go back to the search results by clicking that search results button. And then we're going to go to this next record and take a look at this one, the third record that's cataloged in English. So we can see here in the 040 field in subfield B, it says ENG for English. It describes the ISBNs as softcover paperback. We can read that, that's English. And then in the 240 field, it says that the original title was this, and it's translated into English, so we can read that. As we scroll down, we see a 500 note translation of previously published. That's all in English. We can read it. And then in the 300 field, let's back up to that one. You can see it definitely says pages, and you can read that. That's in English. So this is described in English, and this is an English catalog record. So even though this could be in Spanish, French, Chinese, I don't care what language it could be in, doesn't matter what the language, the content of the work. The descriptions in the record have to be in English. So something like pages, something like these notes here have to be in English. So that's where you're going to tell whether the record is good to save or not by those different fields that you're seeing there. So I'll go back to my search, and now we're going to search by limiting, we'll look at our next example, but we will limit the language of cataloging to English. So I'm going to use another example here for another occasional issue we have with some of the records that come through that we have to send back, and that's online resources. So I'm going to go ahead and search. We're applying this language of cataloging limiter to English, so we're going to be good on that score. So when I hit search, I see that there's 3 results here. I could see that the first one here for extent says online resource. So what we want to encourage you to do is look at your results here in the brief view if you get more than 1 result. Now, sometimes you get 1 result only and it opens to the record automatically. So we're going to look at that too. But if you see more than 1 result, multiple results, you want to exclude the ones that say online resource like this. We don't, those are for e-content, and we don't catalog those, of course. We catalog our e-content, you know, on our own. So you're going to look for things that have the extent that describes something like pages, illustrations, centimeters, like that. Of course, if it's an audiobook, it's going to be discs, or a video recording, it's going to be discs, and if it's a music CD, it's going to be a audio disc, that kind of thing. But you're going to look for something that has a physical description in that extent field there. But let's look at the record itself. What if you scan your ISBN and only 1 record opens? Here's how you can tell if that record is an online resource or not. So before you just click Save to Catalog, because it's your only result, and you think, okay, well, it must be correct because it's the only one that's coming up, go ahead and just double check for us that it's not an online resource. So in this top area here, you see the ISBN field says electronic book. That's one indicator. As you scroll down, you're going to see the 300 field says online resource. That's another indicator. You're going to see these 3XX fields, and 3XX just means, you know, something with a 3 in front, right? So 3XX fields, the 337 field says it's a computer resource. And then the 338 field, excuse me, says it's an online resource as well. So you might notice that. As you scroll down, sometimes, it's not the case here, but sometimes you'll see a 655. That's one of those genre fields that says electronic books even. So there's usually a few indicators that it's an online resource. You just have to keep your eye out for those indicators if you do have a record pop up like this, that it's your only record. So you do want to still check, even if it's your only record, if it's an online resource or a physical resource. You want to compare this record to your item, make sure it's complete, it's not an online resource, it's not cataloged in another language, and that it matches your item. So we'll go back to our search results and just note that we searched for this ISBN here because our next example is going to be important in comparison to this. So we just searched the ISBN that ends with 2700, right? And we got results for Spike It Mo. We're ignoring the first one because it's an online resource. And then we have this second one that comes up that looks like it might be a good record. But we'll take a look at our next example, and you'll see why we're taking a look at these in detail in a minute. So we'll go back to our search. Now we're going to search this ISBN that ends with 2717. We're still limiting it to English, of course. We're clicking search. And this one also comes up, Spike It Mo. And we're going to take a look at this record in detail and see why we might not pick this record. So the first thing you see here, PCC. Well, Yumi said that that's a good record, so we might want to pick that record. We see this second record, it's all in all caps, and Yumi and Kirsten both alerted us that when you see something in all caps like this, with the title in all caps, the author in all caps, it's probably not a good record. We can verify that by looking at it, but in this case, we know it's not a good record right off the bat with that capitalization. So this record here might be a good record, but notice over here it says in BRG. Now, Yumi also warned us that when you see in BRG, this usually means that it's either already in Polaris or one of your other member libraries might have already selected this record today or yesterday, and we just haven't gotten it into Polaris yet. So you usually want to avoid in BRG. But let's take a look at this record. Let's click on it. Let's open it up. And we see here that there are multiple ISBNs listed. So do you remember that our last ISBN that we searched was 2700 and ended with 2700? So this result comes up when you search 2700, and it also comes up when you search the one ending with 2717. So is this record in Polaris? Well, I happen to know that I searched this ISBN in Polaris, and it's not in Polaris. And it hasn't been for a couple of days now. So it's not that another library has selected it and we're just waiting for it to get into Polaris. This has been like this for several days. So why does this say in BRG if I'm searching this ISBN and it's not in Polaris? Well, that's because it has another ISBN here. This ISBN, you'll find out, if you search it in Polaris, it comes up. This ISBN is in Polaris. And when this record was selected by somebody, it only had one ISBN in it, so it was imported with that one ISBN. And later on, this ISBN was added, but it wasn't in our record because we had already imported it into Polaris. So here's the question. Does this paperback ISBN belong on this record? Well, the answer, spoiler alert, is no. But you'll often find records in OCLC where they combine a hardcover and paperback ISBN that don't belong together. Why? Because Yumi said they're humans. They can make errors, and there are human beings doing the work. So in this case, these two ISBNs were published in different years. They may have been the same publisher. They may not have been the same publisher, but they were published in different years. So these would not belong on the same record. So if you're seeing this record consistently saying in BRG, it's because this one is in BRG. Now, what would you do with this ISBN? You have two options. You could go ahead, if you didn't know that it was published in a different year and didn't belong on this record, you could go ahead and fill out one of those support tickets that Kirsten talked about, where you ask us to add an ISBN to an existing record, and you could say, hey, this record for this ISBN is in Polaris. Here's the bib record number. Can you please add this ISBN to the record? We will let you know if we can or we cannot. We'll respond to you, to your ticket, and we'll let you know. The other option is if you know, and you've done your research, and you know this is published in a different year and it doesn't belong on this record, you can, and of course, we go back to our search results, and let's just confirm. We also know that this record for the paperback ISBN that's on its own is not a good record because you can see it's in all caps there, and it's missing the 300 field. There's no 300 field at all in this record, so you can see it's missing several things, and this is not a good record either. You could submit this for original cataloging for us, and you could say, hey, there's a record in here, but it's not a good record. Could you make it better or create your own record? And you could submit that justification form so that we could create a record for this paperback ISBN. So the reason I'm going into detail on this is this happens a lot more than you might think, where hardcover and paperback ISBNs are combined in OCLC when they're not supposed to be. And we get requests for those records to be added when they're already in BRG because the hardcover is already in, not the paperback, something like that. So we need you to communicate with us about those records. Don't just submit something that already says in BRG just because your ISBN is on that record. Communicate with us. Send us a ticket one way or the other and let us know. So let's go to our next example of an incomplete record where you're not going to select this record because of a few different reasons. So we're going to look at that record that I believe either you, me, or Kirsten showed you earlier. We're going to look at it live. So that first record here in all caps, excuse me, may look to you like a good record at first, because you might see, okay, the author's there, the title's there. Who cares if it's all caps? I'm going to ignore those catalogers. It's got the publisher information and the date. It's got the 300 field, and it's got a 655 field. Well, if you recall, Kirsten mentioned the 655 field. It is not enough to just have a 655 field. That is a genre heading. That is not a subject heading. And all it says is what category this falls into. It doesn't say what this is actually about. This is a detective and mystery story. Well, what is it about? We don't know. So this record is incomplete for a few reasons. Let's just point that out. For a few reasons, but it is incomplete in one way, we can say, at least in one way, because it's missing a 650 information. So 650, 610, 600, any of those fields would be fine, of those 6XX fields, but just not this 655 field by itself. That is not enough. Now, it's also an indicator to me that it's an incomplete record because it doesn't have, it's all caps here. That's a immediate red flag. But it also doesn't have a 245 subfield C, which it's supposed to. You could see that the place of publication's not identified. Something as popular as Zebra Books, I think it should have a place of publication. For major publishers, that shouldn't be a reason to not. I can see here that it's got a 0 here. Now, these are things you're not going to notice. But for a cataloger, we can tell you this is an incomplete record. So just trust us. If you see all caps, just run away from that record. No pun intended. You can avoid those records and not submit them to us. So if we go back to our search results, there's certainly better records here on the list that we could select. Let's go back to our search result. And we're going to, one more example of this. I promise I'll stop drilling this into your heads, but one more example of this. This record looks even more complete than our last record, correct? You can see this one has 650 information. So it doesn't have just the 655 information here. It has 650 and 655. Great. It has a summary even. That's a bonus. It's not required, but it's great. It has full 300 information. However, like we told you, avoid those all caps. If you see these all caps, no matter how much it looks like it's a complete record, send us a ticket if you're not sure. Talk to us rather than just submitting this record, because we're not going to add a record like this. Again, it's missing that subfield C in the 245 field, which you might not necessarily pick up on immediately, but it also has some incomplete information in the 008 field that, again, a cataloger might pick up on, but you wouldn't. But what you can pick up on, what you can trust us about, is that if you see all caps, avoid that record. I'll go back to the search results, and then we'll look at another example. Some of these records can be pretty tricky, and they look complete, but they're not. So we're just trying to help you avoid getting records sent back to you, and help you get your items in more successfully. So in this case, we have this ISBN, and what I want to do is look at, even though you're probably already thinking, okay, I would select the second record because it's a PCC record, of course. I just want to show you other examples of when they're not as complete as the others, just for comparison purposes. So let's look at the first record on the list. And let's scan through all the fields. This looks pretty complete as I'm going down the list. It has author, it has title, it has publication information, it has physical description. But at the bottom here, you might think, oh, it has 650 fields, so we're good. However, remember that Kirsten said it has to have 650 fields with a second indicator. Now, these numbers here are called indicators. Second indicator of 0. Now, yes, if it's a 1, we'll also accept it. We'll change it to a 0 for you, but it should be 0 ultimately. So if you find a 1, don't worry about it. But we are not going to accept a record that has 650s with a second indicator of 7. These are not acceptable Library of Congress subject headings. So do keep an eye out when you're looking for those 650s, not just to look that they're present and that they exist, but make sure that that second indicator there is a 0, or again, it could be a 1. We'll change it to a 0 for you. So this record wouldn't work, but spoiler alert, even though this says it's cataloged in English, there's a few things that are telling me auteur, jaquette. This is not quite fully cataloged in English, I hate to say, but it does say, you know, at the top that it is cataloged in English, so we wouldn't fault you for choosing this record for that reason. We would fault you for choosing this record for the reason of the subject headings not being Library of Congress authorized subject headings. So let's go back to our search and do another example. Before I do that, I do want to point out that there sometimes can be, I don't know if I have a good example of it, but there sometimes can also be 650s that have second indicator 0 that are still not accepted, such as if you see a subject heading that just says large print books or large type books, that is not an acceptable subject heading. That's actually a genre heading. So even if they put it in a 650 and they try to pass that off as an acceptable subject heading, it's not one. So we would still remove that subject heading and we would send that record back to you. So I'm going to look at another example. This one's a little bit different and this one's a little bit more complicated. Say you have this ISBN that we just searched, this ISBN at the top here, and you search it and you get a bunch of results. How are you going to determine what record to choose? Well, first of all, I want to point out the screen, the results on the screen to you. You don't just have 10 results here, even though you're only seeing 10. Look at the top here, and it says 17 records found. There are only 10 per page, so you do need to be aware that you have a second page here. If we click this arrow, you're going to see the next 7 results on that page. So we're going to look at a few examples here. So in this case, you have a couple of different pieces of information you're seeing. So notice how you see the year is 1987 in some places, 1967, 1997. You're seeing a few different years here, 1988. And if we go to the next page, we're seeing more 1997. You're even seeing a 2013, a 2021. And you obviously aren't going to want to select one that is not correct for your item. So you want to identify from your item, you want to open the item and look at the title page verso, which is the back of the title page, or whatever page has that type of information on it that says when it was published. So you want to look at that publication information, find out when your item was published so that you can match it to the best record. But what else are we seeing here? We're seeing different extents. We're seeing 40 pages here and in several of them, but we're seeing also online resource. So we know we can skip that one. We're also seeing 30 pages here. So does my item have 40 pages or does it have 30 pages? We're also seeing physical description here, large print. Is my item large print or not? If we go to the next page, We're seeing 40 pages again in a couple of places. We're seeing another online resource that we can skip. We're also seeing a wonder book. Is my item a wonder book or a regular book? I need to know this information before I could select the correct record. Let's go back to the first page. So let's just say that my item is 40 pages and it was published or has the copyright information of 1987 and no other publication information that's newer than that. So with that information in mind, I can look at the first record here, but immediately I see here, this says The Magic School Bus. It doesn't say the full title, The Magic School Bus Inside the Earth by Joanna Cole, illustrated by Bruce Deegan. So I'm going to skip this first record because that, like, right off the bat, it's incomplete compared to the others. So we're going to move farther down. We're going to skip this 1967, the 1997. We're going to skip the online resource. Here's this next one, but again, it just says Magic School Bus Inside the Earth. It doesn't say by Joanna Cole, illustrated by Bruce Deegan. So it's still more incomplete than the other records. Here's our next record, 1987, 40 pages. This one looks good. It's got a complete title. It's got all the information. Let's click on it and see. We have an ISBN, we have an author, we have a title, we have publication information, we have physical description, we have 3XX fields 520, we have a 650 with a second indicator 0. This record looks really good. So I'm going to make a note of this record here in my mind. Maybe I'll even write down the OCLC number, which is located in this 001 field. But I'm also going to point out this top information here. Sometimes this can be an indicator whether this is the best record or not. I want to be clear, sometimes, because the best way to choose your record is to match it to your item. So the best way is to find the most complete record that best matches your item. Not necessarily what's at the top here, but again, sometimes the record with the most holdings, so this has 8, sometimes the record with the most holdings is the best record, just turns out to be the best record. So do pay attention partially to those holdings. Again, it's not the only indicator. Don't just go for the one with 1,000 holdings, but it can be an indicator. So let's just pay attention to that. It's got 8 holdings, and we'll keep this record in mind. Now let's go back to our search results, and let's move on to the next record. This one is 30 pages, so I can skip that one. It's not 40. This one says large print. My record's not large print. And now we have our next record, 1987, 40 pages. Looks good. Now let's just pretend for a second that it doesn't say in BRG, because we did warn you, if it says in BRG, it's already in Polaris or it's already going to be in Polaris, so you can skip those records. But in this case, we'll pretend that we don't see that for a second, and we'll click on this record. Okay. Red flag, red flag. This record, even though, yes, it has 3,054 other holdings, which might indicate to you, wow, a lot of other people out there have selected this record as their record, so it must be good. This one has way too many ISBNs for us to ever enter this record into Polaris as is. You want to avoid records that have all these different ISBNs on them. You can either look for a better record, or if you can't find them, just communicate with us and say, listen, this is the only record I can find, but my ISBN is this. And say, what can you do to help me get this record in with the correct ISBN information? Because we would not add this record as is with all these ISBNs attached to it. There's way too many, and there's no way that all of these ISBNs were published in New York by Scholastic in 1987 and all have 40 pages and all are part of the series Reading Rainbow book. There's just no way. So again, there are humans doing the cataloging. They sometimes add their ISBNs to an existing record in error, and we have to, as catalogers, we have to be aware of that and be on the lookout, and make sure that we do not select the wrong records or incomplete records or records like this that have too many ISBNs that won't be a match for this record description. So this can also happen, just so you know, this can also happen with multiple formats. So you do want to be on the lookout for those too. You'll sometimes see large print, audiobook, regular book, what have you, on the same record, and you never want to pick a record like that either, because we don't obviously catalog large print and audiobooks and regular books all together on a record. So don't select records like that either. You want to communicate with us and say, listen, I found this record, I can't find any other record. If that's the case, of course, look for another record that's a better match. But in this case, you would say, listen, I found this record. This is my ISBN of the 3 or 4 or 5 or 10 that are on the record. This one's mine. And it matches this record, because you also want to make sure it's a match. The information matches, but I know that, you know, I can't select this record with all these ISBNs on it. So can you help? And we'll do our best. Also, do be aware that in a situation like this with all these results, there probably, I know it's time consuming and it's annoying, but there probably is a record like we just found with this one here. There probably is one that is a better match that has just your ISBN on it, or maybe just your ISBN and 1 or 2 others, because sometimes it is actually accurate to have the hardcover and paperback, or hardcover and library binding. Sometimes for children's books, they can be together on a record. That's okay. But when we see things with 10 and 20 ISBNs, that's obviously not going to be something that we would add. So continuing down the list, obviously we would skip this one if it was actually in BRG. So, you know, in reality, we would skip this one. We wouldn't, this one's 1988, so this is not correct. This one is 1997, this one's 1997, this one's 2013, 2021. And then the next one that matches would be this number 15. It's 1987, it's 40 pages, and it has by Joanna Cole, illustrated by Bruce Deegan. So I could click this record, I could take a look and see. This one has 2 ISBNs, whether that's correct or not for them to be on this, 3 ISBNs or 2, sorry about that, 2 ISBNs. Whether that's correct or not to have them on the same record, we don't know. But I happen to notice here this record doesn't have the correct formatting in this 245 field. It's supposed to have a slash between the subfield N or the subfield A. The first few subfields basically right before the subfield C, it's supposed to have a slash, and it doesn't have that. So this record is actually not formatted very well, but you might not necessarily be able to tell that. You might look at this record and see that this is a pretty good record, and you might want to select it. But remember, at the top here, we have those holdings information. Now this one says there are no holdings in any other library that uses OCLC in the world. So I would say between the record with 8 holdings and the record with 0 holdings, I would choose the record with 8 holdings, of course. So let's go back to our search results, and let's see this next one. It matches on the year and the pagination, but it doesn't have by Joanna Cole, illustrated by Bruce Deegan, so I'm going to skip that one. And then our last result is the 2021, so that's not an accurate result either. So we've gone through all our results, and we determined that in the end, we would probably go with this record here, number 6 with 8 holdings, that has all the required information, the complete information. Let's go back to our search and look at another example of a record that we want to avoid. So in this case, we're doing a search, and we're seeing this second record is in BRG, so that one's already on its way to Polaris, or it's already in Polaris. But what about this first record? This one looks really complete. It's got a lot of information. So let's open it. However, this record here, red flag again, it has multiple ISBNs. In this case, they're not different editions per se. They're different volumes of the same series. Now, we don't catalog this way anymore. We used to, but we don't anymore. We don't catalog the volumes together. What we do is we catalog each volume separately on a separate record. So you never want to select a record that has multiple volumes like this on the same record. Now, the way to identify that, because sometimes you can't tell right away. Sometimes it only has volume 1 on it so far, but it is still what we call an open entry record. Here's how you can tell whether or not it has multiple ISBNs on it if it's an open entry record. Well, at the top here in the 008 field, you'll notice that it has an M here for multiple volumes, and it has 9999 indicating that it goes into the future to an undetermined time. So it's extending, it's being published in the future. We don't know when the series is going to end. So those are indicators right there. But also you can scroll down to the 264 field. And in this case, there are two 264 fields, one for publication and one for copyright. And you'll see this hyphen at the end. So this is indicating that it starts in 2022 and it goes again on into the future for an undetermined time. So this is indicating this is an open entry as well. And last but not least, we have this 300 field. Instead of saying this volume is 100 pages, it's saying volumes in that first field to indicate there are multiple volumes in this record. So you do not want to select this record. You want to avoid this kind of record. And what you want to do is just look for, so let's go back to our search results, just look for a record that represents this ISBN only. So in this case, again, this second record is in BRG, so we wouldn't actually select it. But if it weren't, you could click on it and you could see, okay, this one is one ISBN. It's got a T here and no 9999 in the 008. In the 264 field, there is no hyphen at the end of the year. And in the 300 field, it says one volume, not multiple volumes. So this record looks really good. And I could select this record if it weren't already in BRG. You can see there are BRG holdings there, so we wouldn't select it. But let's go back to our search results. And the third result, not as complete, doesn't have 650s, so we're not going to select this record. We would go with the second record if, again, it weren't in BRG. Let's go back to our search, and we're going to take a little bit different approach here, and we're going to go to that advanced search that Yumi talked about. So what if you're not sure what the ISBN is, or you can't find the ISBN on the item, and you need to do a title search? So let's do an example here of searching for Freddy's Amazing Bakery. Oops, don't want caps lock there. And we're going to say that's the title. And we're going to say that it was published in 2019. So that's all I know at the moment. I'm going to do that search as is, and I'm going to get 3 results. So the first one I can immediately skip because I don't have a sound disc. It's not an audiobook or a music or anything like that. It's a book, so I can skip the first one. Now the second one looks good. Freddy's Amazing Bakery, The Great Raspberry Mix-Up. That's the one I'm looking for. It's not an online resource. It has the 111 pages extent listed. So let's click on it and let's see what we see. Looks like a good record. Very complete. Has everything we want, except, red flag again, there is no 020 field or ISBN field present in this record. And that is a problem. We do not add records with no ISBN or UPC in them, except if it was published before ISBNs were adopted. So that would be prior to, I'm not actually sure of the exact date, but it's sometime in the 70s, I believe. So this would be only acceptable for a very old title, and it would not be acceptable for something this new in 2019. So this record we would send back to you and we would say, please select a record with an ISBN. We will not accept this record as is. So let's go back to our search results. Let's look at this third record. This, let me point out, I went a little quick there. as Yumi mentioned, this LC indicator, this little box that says LC, lets us know this is a Library of Congress record, which is a good record. So let's select this record. Let's take a look, because just because we see that, again, people are human, we make mistakes. So let's just see that it's a good record. It has very complete information, 245, 100, 264, 300. And it has all those 650s that we want with second indicator 0. So this is a good record, and you could select this record. It's not already in BRG, has 88 other holdings. All signs point to this being a good record. So let's go back to our search, and let's take another look at an example of a record that we would not add. I promise you we'll get to an example of a record we would add eventually. And let's take a look for this at this record here. Now this is our only result. We scan the ISBN, it comes right up. So you might think, okay, I have to select this record. This is the only one that's available. However, this is an example of a record that you would not select from CAT Express. What you would do in this case, since this is a paw prints, as you can see from the 020 field, this is a paw prints ISBN, you would actually go to the support forms and you would submit a ticket for us to add this ISBN to the existing paperback record. So what you'll find with paw prints is if you look at the title page verso, the other side of the title page, the back side of that first page with the title on it, you'll notice that it will have the ISBN there for the paper, usually the paperback edition, and you can look for that paperback ISBN in Polaris, find that bib record, and then provide us with that bib record number and say, please add my paw prints ISBN to this bib record in Polaris. Now, if the bib record isn't in Polaris, if you look for that paperback ISBN on the title page verso and you search it and it's not in Polaris, then what you want to do is search for that paperback ISBN in CAT Express instead. Save that record to the catalog. Once it gets added to Polaris, then submit the ticket to add your paw prints ISBN to that record. We do not catalog paw prints on their own. Just be aware. So let's go back to our search, and then let's look at a couple of policy issues where we would not add a record because of a policy issue. So here we go. We're searching this ISBN. And we're going to find the best record. This first one doesn't have any author information, so I'm definitely going to skip that one. This second one doesn't either, and it's an online resource, so I'll definitely skip that one. Next one's also an online resource, as is the next and the next. So I'm all the way to number 6, and I notice it has the title and the author, it has the correct extent information, and I see that it's a PCC record. Now, the next two are online resources anyway, so I kind of have to select this record, but it is a PCC record, so it's a good record. So let's select it. Let's review it. Looks very good. It's very complete. It has all the fields that we want. The only problem here is that this record is a nonfiction record. It's The Revolt of the Black Athlete is a nonfiction topic, and it's published in 2017. Now, we have a policy that states we will not add records without justification by the director or the director's designee that are older than 5 years from today's date, of course. So older than 5 years from 2023. So 5 years ago was 2018. Anything older than 2018 is not going to be accepted without that justification form. So don't even bother selecting this record. Go ahead and fill out that justification form right from the get-go. If you're not the one that is authorized to fill out that form, then send it to whoever is and ask them to fill it out for you. So let's go back to our search and look at one more example of that. In this case, we're going to search this record. Again, we have one result, so we might think, okay, go ahead, save it to the catalog, we're done. But in this case, we have another problem. This one is fiction, so it doesn't matter that it's 2014, it's fiction. You can see here in the subject headings. However, notice this 264 field subfield B. This is published by the author herself. So the problem here is that we have a policy that says we do not catalog self-published materials without justification as well. So this one is going to have to be submitted using the justification form from your director or designee, and then we would add it. So you might as well not even add this in Cat Express, because we would not be adding it. We would send it back to you. Sometimes you will see the author's name here. Sometimes you will see something like create space, or sometimes you'll even see, this publisher not identified. So whatever you see here that indicates it's not an actual major publisher, you might automatically reach out to us first, because if you select this record, it's only going to get sent back to you. Finally, let's look at a complete record, which we've seen along the way, but let's just go through this one in detail. This is that record that Kirsten indicated to you was a complete record in her example. The first one is an online resource, so we can skip it. The second one is not an online resource. Again, it says in BRG, so we're not going to actually save it to the catalog, but we're just using this as an example of a complete record. So if this one was not in BRG, we would open this record and we would go from the top down. You can see here it has an 020 field, has that ISBN. It's cataloged in English because we made sure we limited to English from the beginning. It has a 100 field for the author, which again is not required. You can sometimes just have a 700 field, that's fine. But in this case, it has a 100 field. It has the 245 field, and it's complete with the subfield A in the beginning and the subfield C at the end with a slash in between the two. It has 264 information with the publication information. It's nonfiction, but it's current. It's not older than 5 years. It's got an actual publisher, a major publisher there, so it's not self-published. It has the 300 field with complete information. 300 field, of course, doesn't have to have complete information. We do accept a 300 field, even if it just says 1 volume or pages in centimeters without actual numbers for pagination in centimeters. Scrolling down, it has some helpful information that's not required, like the 504, 505, and 520. But here we have those 6XX fields with second indicator 0 as we require. You can ignore the other ones. We won't add those with second indicators 6 and 7. And down at the bottom, it also has a 700 field. Again, not required, but it happens to have an additional author. So there's another 700 field at the bottom. This has 184 other holdings. That's a good sign. And again, if this were not held already by BRG, we could go ahead over to the right and click on Save to Catalog, not to export only, because that will not update our holdings. We would click Save to Catalog, and then this would be added within 24 to 48 hours by the catalogers. So that's the extent of incomplete and complete records. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, and we're going to take a look at the Q&A box to see if we have any questions. I don't see any at the moment, so we could just open it up to questions at this point and see if anyone has any now that we've completed the session. Still not seeing any questions come through. So we might have just done a super thorough job, which works for me.
That's just what I was going to say, Margaret. You all covered so much great information. Maybe we could give people a minute or two to think if they have any questions. Are there any words of wisdom you all would like to share while people are thinking if they have any questions?
My words of wisdom are always the same, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. it's talk to us, it's communication. If you're not seeing something there that you think should be there, if you're waiting for a record and it's not coming through, if you keep exporting the same, saving to catalog, not exporting. If you keep saving the same record and you're not seeing it, you're not sure what's going on, anything, talk to us. We are here to help you. We can answer your questions, but we don't know if you don't talk to us. So submit a ticket. I don't even care which category you pick. Kirsten told you which categories to pick for which things, but pick anything and just get in touch with us and talk to us. We will help you.
And it's just like a same thing as Margaret said. We are notifying whenever we cannot accept your records. We notify to you, as I told you before, using your library's cataloging email. Please check if you get the library email, and if you're not, just ask your director. And just like because I'm helping Margaret whenever she's on vacation, and then I just experienced it by myself. Same record submitted every day, and I just give the library notification every day, but they don't read the notification, and they submit the same record every day from the same library. I think like your communication is really important. So just check your cataloging email and just let us know what you're thinking. You think maybe this record is a good record and why are you rejecting it? Those kind of stuff, and then we can explain and what can be the next step. If you really want the record, then we'll just explain this is you need to do in order to we accept those record, that kind of thing. So just communicate with us.
Yes, absolutely. I agree.
Thank you, Yumi. Thank you, Margaret. Kirsten, do you have anything that you would like to add?
I would just echo what Margaret and Yumi said. Please just contact us if you have any questions. We're here to help. We'd be happy to help you with anything you've got on your mind. And the only other thing I would mention probably is before you even go to export records in Cat Express, check the catalog first to see if we've already got it in. Other than that, because it will save you the time, it'll save the catalogers time, it'll save everybody time.
And sign up for WCP if you're not signed up already. Find
Oh,
out
yes,
from your
absolutely.
director if your library's signed up, but it's a great way to get your records in sooner.
Yep. Yeah, you can
And
get a lot of new releases, popular releases, a lot quicker. So it's definitely worth it.
And I find that with those issues with like hardcover versus paperback, a lot of times the paperback record will come through WCP for those libraries that are buying the paperback like a year or two later after the hardcover is released. Those
Yes.
records will get in with WCP, whereas they will not in Cat Express if they're on the same record as the hardcover.
Interesting. I am not seeing any questions, so I'm just going to take a minute to wrap things up. If anybody does have a question, feel free to type it in the Q&A box, or you can ask it. So I would like to thank again Yumi, Margaret, and Kirsten for a great class with a lot of great information. I would like to thank everyone who took time out of their busy day to attend as well. We will be sharing the recordings and slides and other resources with you. Look for that to come via email from me in a few days. This afternoon, you should be receiving an email with an evaluation on today's session. If you could please provide your feedback, it would be greatly appreciated. And I think that's it. I would like to say thanks. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. And we'll give it 1 minute, and then everyone will be dismissed. All righty. I don't see anything else coming in. So thanks everyone for attending and have a great weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.